Hey, Ashland Train Day. It's Louise Keaton from the Whistlestop Theatre Company here with Dax Dupuis. You might remember Dax from our original show, Food Baby, which was the first ever musical we ever produced.
10 years ago.
10 years ago. So it's about to be our 10-year anniversary, and we thought the most appropriate way to celebrate with you and Ashland Train Day today is by singing a medley of our first musical. So we're going to start with some of our favorites, see a little clip from our Whistlestop documentary called A Decade with the Whistlestop, and hopefully enjoy this time all together on YouTube, on Facebook, and here in the center of the universe. So without further ado, let's get this started.
The art of making cheese should bring a man to his hands and his knees as he prays his wheel of brie will be the cause of a smile. And when the big jolly Italian guy makes an artichoke linguine for his bride, he sautés in all the love he feels inside. But Easy Mac is the bastard child of cold, heartless machines. Artificial flavors, unpronounceable labels, an offense to legitimate mac and cheese. Don't you see what a meal is meant to be? Does your heart skip a beat when you eat? Freshly picked berries on vanilla crepes, a frothy glass of milk with a slice of chocolate cake, quesadillas drowned in sour cream, the pasta primavera of your wildest dreams, Asiago cheese with a dry red wine, a curry so hot it brings tears to your eyes, French toast served to you in bed, and a steak so rare you're not sure it's dead. Oh, I long for something real, something juicy and fresh, for a way to express the joy that I feel when I'm baking a pie. I don't even have to try. I'm like taking a business test, though I always do my best. It feels forced and contrived, like ramen noodles.
I like ramen.
Oh, Annie, you have no imagination. Where's the love? Noodles should be made with love. Olive oil to clean out the soul, some garlic and a bit of oregano to remind everyone of their home sweet home. Don't forget to chop a zucchini or two, they'll cheer up the ones who are feeling blue. And a great big mountain of cheese says, I love you.
You could do that.
Do what?
Make your own noodles.
Like a restaurant?
Sure.
I could. I should. I will. Could it be I've wasted my time on a dream that's not really mine? Making money does sound great, but baking bread sets my heart ablaze. We'll start with a great big fireplace to warm every soul from the cold and the rain, stained glass on every window pane.
A table in the corner with a rocking chair for those who want to sit and rock away their cares.
While they eat their feelings in the form of eclairs.
Oh, yes.
Right?
So good.
The coffee is fresh be for me.
I could be your business consultant.
You have to be. I'm quitting.
What?
I'm quitting business. I'm going to culinary school.
Will you still quiz me?
Of course.
Oh.
What a thrill, what a risk,
To take a leap of faith,
armed with my passion and my whisk, I might fall on my face,
but I'll set out on my quest, do my best and fuck the rest. Here's my chance to express love through lemon zest. Woo. So that was our opening song called Love Through Lemon Zest, which, as you know, we wrote 10 years ago.
little babies.
Dax, can you tell me what motivated us to write a musical 10 years ago?
Oh my gosh, well, we were touring together with the show Hugs and Kisses with Virginia Repertory Theater, which was, and that's how we met. It was a wonderful experience, but it was heavy. And so we needed a way to sort of let off steam. And, I'm very passionate about food, and that was a big part of how we comforted ourselves. and so we I don't know, it kind of happened. We're just both writers, and we spent so much time in a van together, and we were like, what would happen if we wrote this silly musical about food?
Yeah, I vaguely remember you playing the song that's about to come up called Ice Cream. Y'all are going to love it. I vaguely remember you playing it while we were on tour.
Yeah.
You saw a piano at one of the schools and just
I could
took
never
over.
resist them, yeah.
And I remember thinking, okay, so you have this song about ice cream. You have this other song about almond joys.
Oh my
There's
gosh,
a theme
that's
here.
right,
I
yeah.
love that song. I bet they could be turned into a narrative. And then you were like, yeah, because most of the biggest events of our life include food. You have food at a baby shower, you have food at a wedding, you have food at funerals. And so we wanted to show that arc of a lifespan and the meals that bring people together in that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think our friendship just embedded itself into the script.
Yeah.
Because it turned out to be about two best friends trying to open a restaurant and all the meals they had while they were doing it. And yeah, I feel like it's been very parallel in our lives
Definitely.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's we're about to give you a little clip of our show, just to give you a little bit of context. We just created a documentary called A Decade at the Whistlestop, and we have a little clip for you right now so you can learn more about Food Baby and what it was like when we were performing it a decade ago in the Ashland Firehouse Theater.
To participate in, be good for viewers, be good for the community, and be good for everyone who contributed to it.
I like food. Seriously. Food is awesome. Rather than have to make food as good as he did, he could have made it like air. Necessary, but not distinctive. Food, however, is both necessary and distinctive. I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh. Food Baby was so special, and it was so cool to just make something that was ours, that we had total control over, and we could just totally express anything we wanted to express. And so it was so important and therapeutic, not only having your friendship at that time, but creating this really wonderful little weird thing with you.
You and I, again, were having a spontaneous conversation, and you played a little musical clip that you had recorded about ice cream.
Someone pass the ice cream, please. It's the only thing that I need.
I remember turning to you and going, that's really good. We could do something with that.
I remember the whole town came out to support you. They knew nothing about the show. All they knew is that you were putting on a play. And they came out, 100 people came out and in that little black box theater. And they still talk about it 10 years later.
I was thinking about the very first time and really seeing you all perform really was the Firehouse Theater. But then I saw you in Food Baby there, and Reagan and Phyllis being there.
If there ever was a case to be made for live theater, a little theater in downtown Ashland, this play, Food Baby, is exhibit number one. It's a well-written, a beautifully written script. It's a marvelous score, superb acting, Oscar-winning direction by Laurie. I mean, what else can we ask for in this small town? You're going to laugh. You may shed a tear or two. And in the end, you're going to want to have Annie's place right here in Ashland.
That was one of the first times that we really realized how much Ashland wanted a home for theater.
Also, to keep this theater alive, I want to bring more live theater to Ashland.
It's been 10 years. This is our 10th season. And I became inspired by why we started this in the first place, which includes my parents. You know, we're a family-run theater company.
You always shout out to mom and dad. They're everything to make it happen.
They are. You know, I'm the artistic director, so I write.
Food Baby related, but if you want to watch the entire documentary, it will be made available on the Whistlestop's Facebook on May 5th, which is our exact date when we premiered Food Baby 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I know. I'm getting all these notifications from Facebook with all these memories going, this is what you were doing 10 years ago, eating Alisteca and writing a script.
Wow. Days before we turned 23.
Yes, days before. And, well, we'll get into this later with the song that Dax wrote for my solo. But we were very conscious of how we were growing up with this script. And I think we didn't even realize how much this story would affect us as adults now that our characters were 32 at the very end of the show. Now we're 32 and we're looking back on this with new insight. What are some of the things that you gained from?
You know, the most striking thing for me opening up the script again is just like the energy and enthusiasm of the young. You know, just like how optimistic in some ways, and just how much of a go-getter, you know, these characters are, and they can do anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I hope I've retained that, but I'm not sure I have. But I think there's stuff to be learned, you know, from the energy of us 10 years ago and the optimism of us 10 years ago, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like it really manifested in what we actually created. We were so motivated to write something and put it out in front of an audience. And it was especially remarkable that there were adults who saw what we were trying to do and believed in us enough to give us that opportunity.
Oh, it was incredible.
You just heard Reagan Phillips, who ran the Ashland Firehouse Theater out of the garage of the firehouse. And he was such an incredibly dedicated servant to Ashland. And he believed in us. Mm-hmm. And so I would love to take a moment to just call out Reagan for being a wonderful person and his spirit still being with us now as we celebrate the legacy he helped us create.
Yeah, he was a really cool guy.
Yeah. So as we think about that, I feel like we all need a little bit of ice cream. So we're going to move on to really the song that inspired the whole show.
Oh, yeah. It's a love song to ice cream. I think this is something everyone can relate to. So. Some people drink to cope with their lives. Some people smoke, get high as the sky. I tried them both, they're not for me. Beer's too caloric and pot ain't free. So what's a girl to do? What's a girl to do? What's a girl to do? Someone pass the ice cream, please. It's the only thing that I need. Satisfaction guaranteed in the chocolate coconut land of dreams. And the calories don't count if you don't use a bowl. Who needs people when you got Neapolitan, the non-committer's dream? Or you can run away with a pint of lime sorbet if you're feeling extreme. Oh, someone pass the ice cream, please. It's the only thing that I need. Satisfaction guaranteed in the chocolate coconut land of dreams.
Pause for the uproarious applause that we can't hear. I love that song.
Oh, it's so silly, but it's just like, it fixes everything, you know? And I hate leaning into the, like, you know, women eat chocolate trope, but like, it's not just, it's everyone.
Yeah.
No matter the ice cream's genderless.
Yeah.
Ice cream's here for all of us.
Yeah. It wants to support us.
Yeah.
And we should give back by eating lots of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to do after this to celebrate.
Oh my God, me too.
So now the next song we're about to go to is called Striving. And as I mentioned earlier, we wanted to reflect all of the meals that we have throughout our lives. So if we're going to look at the full arc of a lifespan, that includes death. So we had to kill off one of our characters, and I took the brunt of that. My character, Annie, ends up dying, spoiler alert. But Dax wrote this incredible song to really emphasize that process of being somebody who understands that they're going to die and looking back on their life. Can you tell me how you wrote this song? Because I've been studying it for 10 years and I'm still blown away by the lyricism of it, the idea of striving. Like, what does that word mean to you?
That's a good question. You know, I think at the time I was, you know, you and I had a lot of conversations about this. When you're that young and, you know, everything has to be about, I really want to know what my purpose was. It wasn't, everything had to be endowed with a lot of meaning. And I come from a super Christian background, which I was also like kind of struggling with at the time of like, I kind of want to shed this, but I don't know if it's okay to shed it, you know, and exploring new ideas. And so that's a lot of where my vocabulary comes from, because my background is so steeped in that sort of spirituality. And striving is I don't know, I had, it's like, if in the background that I came from, it's like one shouldn't strive for earthly success. One should just let things come to you, I guess, in God's will and God's way or whatever. But I also but you also have to strive for the things that you want. And so that kind of battle was happening in me. And we talked about a lot of, you know, what's our purpose, what's our path, what do we really want, you know, at the time. And this was just kind of born out of that internal struggle of like pursuing my career and not sure if I was actually allowed to do that, not sure if that was okay.
Yeah, I feel that, and I'm really glad we got to talk about that, because I've never gotten that insight behind it, but you can really hear it in the lyrics. There's no way to not act this song when you sing it. You feel it really, really deeply. I'm really honored that you wrote it for my voice to sing.
Oh, I love listening to you sing it.
You're very kind. I hope you will all enjoy hearing me sing it. when we're ready to start.
Okay.
Back to work, back to life, back to punching the clock, back to climbing that ladder. I don't dare to stop, 'cause I have worked too hard and I have come too far to risk losing my place at the top. So I can't stop. Back to days filled with meetings and calls, back to making more space for the plaques on my walls. No time to sit and whine and let life pass me by. I'll be back on my feet in no time. And no matter how lonely and tired I may be, I've gotta keep climbing and chasing my dream. I'm so close to having the world on a string, and then I will finally be happy. Ugh, Annie, stop it. Ugh. Gotta go, gotta do, gotta fill up my mind, 'cause the silence leaves room for the voices inside. They say, Annie dear, you've bought into a lie. Chasing dreams will never satisfy. Why are you striving? Striving, striving after the wind. 'Cause honestly, what good's the wind in the end? It slips through your fingers again and again and leaves you there waiting for life to begin, unaware that it's passed you by while you were striving. Striving. What good's a 3-story house on the beach if all of the bedrooms are empty and bleak? And what good's a fortune with no one to pass it on to? I may not have the passion and vision of Kate, but I'll take what I've got and find some kind of way to be sure that my striving is not in vain. Think of somebody else for a change. All the feels.
Yeah.
So many feels, even after all these years.
I know.
So if you didn't get it, Annie dies after that song. And so now Kate, her best friend, has to figure out how she's going to move forward with this dream. So initially, this song that we're about to sing was written after Annie discloses that she's had a near-death experience and she's most likely going to die. And I guess you can tell from the previous song, Annie was a very uptight person.
Yes.
She did not want help. She did not want comfort. And so this lullaby was Kate's way, I think, of kind of forcing her to ground herself and listen to love.
And also, Kate could not accept this news.
Yeah.
So she's literally saying, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I just got a diagnosis that's like very, very bad. And she's like, nope, you're fine. All you need to do is drink some tea. And let
Which
me
was
tell
the
you
solution.
nice things, and then you will be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kate's character was trying to solve a lot with food.
Yeah.
And
You can't fix everything with food.
yeah, and Annie, she was a very driven person, so she didn't really use her imagination the same way that Kate does. And Kate has this running joke throughout the show where she says, oh, Annie, you have no imagination. But I guess she never really got to see that Annie was most alive when she was with Kate and got to enjoy this food and have these experiences. And I guess that's kind of our relationship in a nutshell, too, when we're creating together and getting to make these memories together. That's that clues me into what life is really about. That's what you ought to be striving for.
Yeah. We inspire each other in a huge way. Yeah.
So there you go. We love each other, and we write music together, and we perform plays. So we'll just carry on with that good energy with this final song, our lullaby, so you can get back to enjoying more of Ashland Train Day's festivities.
Calm your heart and close your eyes. You will be just fine. Think of stars and fireflies and cast your cares aside. Hold your head with confidence. I know that you'll go far. And promise me you won't forget how beautiful you are.
And if ever you feel alone, like no one's by your side, remember you always have a home with shoulders on which to cry.
Annie, darling, rest a while. No need to be so strong. Drink all the tea your heart desires. You're just where you belong. Calm your heart and close your eyes. Like you will be just fine. Think of stars and fireflies and cast your cares aside.
Thank y'all so much for taking this time to join us and celebrate 10 years with the Whistlestop, celebrate the center of the universe this Ashland Train Day. And I hope we get to make more wonderful memories together. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.